Hey, what's up? My name is Tyson Brown and I want to welcome you to Tyson's Fitness Tips podcast. This is Australia's top health and fitness podcast to help you lose weight, look good with your shirt off, feel confident in your body, and finally achieve the goals you want with your health and fitness. So 5 days a week, I'm going to be giving you top information from myself and also from leading experts in the field so you know everything you need to do to get in the best shape of your life. From nutrition to mindset to workout, everything is covered in this podcast and you need to go nowhere else. So like I said, it's going to be 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, in your ears with quick actionable segments that you can implement straight away, because the most important thing is that you can put these things into play. Also, if you listen all the way to the end of the episode, you're going to get 2 special gifts that you can download upon listening to it. So make sure you listen all the way to the end to get those free gifts, okay? So let's get into the episode. Sneaky bloody calories. It's one thing a lot of people don't talk about, and it's those bloody calories that you don't even think about. So when a lot of people come up and they say, Tyson, I'm looking to lose weight, what should I be doing? I always say, first of all, you want to make sure you're tracking your food. You want to use an app called MyFitnessPal. You want to use, I think there's Chronos, there's Mike's Macros. There's a lot of different app options out there to be able to actually track your food. But the problem is that if you are tracking pretty diligently like you think, but you don't realize that there's all these little sneaky things adding up, then that might be the reason you're not losing weight. Especially if you're very diligent in tracking. You're like, I'm eating 2,000 calories a day. I think I'm hitting everything, but I just can't seem to lose the weight. It could be because of these sneaky bastards, all right? So we're gonna cover a little bit about them and how you can fix it. So firstly, coffee. I've got my coffee right here. Today, it is a cappuccino, all right? So the problem is what happens is when you go from a black coffee to a flat white or a cappuccino to a latte, is there a difference between a cappuccino and a latte? Good question. But if you go from when you start adding in milk, you start adding in calories. You add that up to a couple of days, a couple of times a day. If you have 3 or 4 flat whites, large, whatever it's gonna be, that adds up to a lot of extra calories that people don't think about. And that's not even including sugar. If you add a sugar in there or 2 sugars, so you could be you'd be consuming 300-400 calories extra just from coffee a day. So what you should do is, first of all, be aware when you're actually putting it in your app. Are you just putting it in coffee, or are you putting in latte, or are you putting in whatever you're having? Make sure you're tracking that. So whatever coffee you're having today, for me it's cappuccino. A cappuccino is about 90 calories. You've got to track it. And this is just a regular. You've also got to think, is it a regular or a large? So after our sneaky coffees, the next thing you want to be thinking about is dressings. Now, you might use it on your food, you might get it in a restaurant, you might, you see all these nice dressings, they taste fucking amazing, but here's the thing. Dressings contain a lot of oil, some have sugar, salt, all these things that make the food taste good, and you don't realize that all these dressings are loaded with calories. Like, if you get a Caesar salad and you wonder why it's 600-700 calories, it's because of the dressing. It's also because of the cheese in there too. Is there a cheese in Caesar salad? Another good question that I don't even know about. But a big thing you need to be aware of is the dressing. So you need to look at, are you having dressings on your food? If you are, take them away. If you're going out to eat, ask to have the dressing on the side so you can decide. And the same thing comes with sauces. When you go and get a steak and you get mushroom sauce or Diane sauce or whatever you're going to get, that's all extra calories that add up. And all these little sneaky things you don't think about. You're like, oh, the steak's only a couple of 100 calories. Oh, I'm getting some veggies too. I'm being healthy. But that sauce, if you're having sauce in there, it's the same thing. If you're going down to, let's say, Woolworths or Coles, or if you're going to a local chicken shop and you're getting some sauce over the top or gravy, all that stuff adds up. And they use salt, they use sugar, they use fat, they make the things that make the food taste good, and all that stuff is just added calories coming in. So as you can see, if you're just getting little bits of here, little bits of there, it all adds up. Guess what? That's what's going to be stopping you. It's not the small, it's not just having 1 coffee a day, it's 3 or 4 coffees a day, and it's every day. It's not having 1 teaspoon of sugar, it's having 3 or 4 teaspoons of sugar, because that small thing accumulates over time. When it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, that's what's going to be the biggest problem. So we've talked about sauces, dressings, coffees. I did touch on the restaurants. So, you know, restaurants do like to use a lot of extra flavor. They want you coming back for more. They want you loving the food. So if you're loving food, they're going to put some good stuff in there to make you want to come back, okay? So being aware of those things is going to be so important. And like, you know, I'm not saying you should cut it out completely, but you just need to become more aware of it. You know, if you ask for a dressing on the side, instead of having a 300 calorie dressing, you put a little bit on, maybe it's 100 calories instead, and you're still able to lose weight that way. Maybe instead of having 4 flat whites a day, you have 2 flat whites a day, and then you have 2 long blacks. Or maybe you have 4 coffees with a little bit of milk instead of a flat white, so that way you're reducing the calories. It's those small things that add up, but also it's those small things that can make the difference too. So that's a really key thing to be aware of. Now, this is one thing we don't think about, that we don't count when it comes to macronutrients, because when it comes to your MyFitnessPal, because I don't do it, and I know other people don't do it because I've asked people before. You know, when you're cooking and you have a bite of something, or when you're, let's say you're walking past the office and they've got some cookies there and you might have one. Oh, that doesn't count. I just had one. And that stuff adds up over the day. If you're preparing breakfast, lunch, dinner every day, or if you're preparing your dinner for the night and then you're having a snack here and there at work, all those little extra calories add up. And it might be 1 or 2, like 100, 200 calories in total. And like I'm saying, 100 or 200 calories in total extra a day could be what's stopping you from losing weight, because that's 1,400 calories a week that you could be consuming over what you need to be. So think about that, like where are you having little bites? And I'll give you a perfect example of where I do it, and it's with the next one. It's the peanut butter jar. Do you ever just like open the peanut butter jar, put it on your toast, and then you have a little bit more? Yeah, 1 for the toast, 1 for me. 1 for the toast, 1 for me. It adds up really quickly. Like if you measure out a teaspoon of peanut butter, whoo, you are going to be surprised about how small that looks, and you're going to be goddamn disappointed, because I remember when I first found out how much a small teaspoon of peanut butter is, I was like, wow. It's like the size of my thumbnail. Nah, it's a little bit bigger than that. It's probably that size of my thumb. And so you've got to think about that stuff. Like, where are you letting those extra calories sneak in during the day? Are you having a snack here and there at work? Are you, picking from the peanut butter jar or the Nutella jar? Or are you having 1 scoop of ice cream maybe? Maybe your kids or your husband or wife is having some food and you pick off their plate. That's another thing. All these things you think that don't count, they definitely count. And it's funny because when you become aware of this, when you become conscious of like, oh shit, I am actually having that stuff, it's very, very easy for you to start making better decisions, okay? But before you make those decisions, you have to be aware. So just think about where you think that stuff might be adding up, okay? Now, another thing I want to talk to you about is picking off plates, taking your kids' foods. Also, it's actually a funny thing because one of my clients, she tended to do that a lot, and it added up to like 300 or 400 extra calories, because the things you give your kids, they're not the best stuff, a couple of tiny teddies, stuff like that, and those things really add up. Now, when it comes to drinks, you've got to think about, what are you drinking on a daily basis? Like, are you having soft drink? Because soft drink contains a lot of calories. Are you buying a Boost juice smoothie? Are you buying, apple juice? Are you buying those drinks that actually have calories in them? Because if you are, that's a big thing. Monster Energy, V, Red Bull, all those things, unless you're getting the sugar-free version, which is a lot better, still tastes like shit, but they're better. That's what's going to help you at the end of the day stick away from those calorie-consuming drinks. Because like one bottle of Coke is 40 grams of sugar. 40 goddamn grams of sugar. That's 1 bottle of Coke. So that's 160 calories. And so when you start to look at these things, like they all add up over time. And when those sneaky fucking calories add up, yeah, that's what's doing the justice. And the biggest thing, I haven't read it on here because you're going to hate me for it, but it's probably alcohol. If you're drinking beers, a few a night, 12, 15, 16 a week, it's going to add up. If you're having more on the weekend with your mates, it's going to add up. So you might be doing everything right with your nutrition, but if you're drinking and if you're not logging those calories, I don't know what to tell you. That's what's going to be stopping you. Now, you can fix this, obviously. You just start tracking more. But it's just like, you got to become aware of these things. And until you know, which I'm sharing you about today, you're not going to know about those sneaky bloody calories. I didn't know about those sneaky bloody calories, but I'm glad I took time when I was younger to actually figure this stuff out and just become more aware of what people's habits are. So have a look at this stuff, do a little bit of an audit of your life, and think about where you're having it. I mean, for me, the biggest one was bites and nibbles, especially from the peanut butter jar or the Nutella jar. I love Nutella, okay? But I had to stop that shit, so I cut it out of my house. So if you have those foods that you're constantly, just picking out here and there, maybe you grab a little handful of chips from your housemate or your wife or your kids, whatever it is, cut that stuff, okay? If you, like I said, if you're having heaps of coffees with milk and sugar, just reduce it. Don't cut it completely. Just reduce it. Make those small changes. Like if you're doing a little bit of everything and you just cut back on a little bit of everything, that might be the only thing you need to do to start losing weight. I mean, you just have to make those conscious decisions, okay? So think about that. Think about what you can do. And at the end of the day, if it feels like you're doing everything right, but you still aren't losing weight and you're tracking your food, might be the beer. Might be the alcohol. And if it's not the alcohol, it's not the beer because you're like, oh, I don't drink. Liar, because you're in Australia and you do drink. Just joking, you might not. But if it is, then you might need to cut back on the alcohol. Now, you don't have to completely cut out the alcohol, but instead of going from 16 drinks, go down to 13 or go down to 10 or have one a night. See how you go from there, okay? So that's the information I want to share with you today. Just a couple of tips for you to think about if you're stuck losing weight and go from there. Now, if you have any questions about this or you just feel like you're still stuck, just send me a message. I'm happy to help you out. Happy to send you some, some information if you need to know anything. I'll tell you what your macronutrients need to be. Any of that stuff, just send me a message and I'm happy to help. And I'll speak to you guys on the next episode. See ya. You've got two different options, or you can take them both. I've got an intermittent fasting cheat sheet and a high protein 20 recipe meal guide designed specifically for you in your situation. These meal plans and this intermittent fasting guide is designed to help you burn stubborn belly fat and get in the best shape of your life. So all you have to do is go to the show notes, click on the download link, and they'll get sent straight to your email address. It's as simple as that. They're completely free. They're going to help you transform your body. So go to the show notes now and download your free guides, and I'll speak to you in the next episode.